Spurs 21 here, back with another video for you. This time back from my hibernation over the summer, and I'm very, very excited ahead of the new season. And yeah, I don't think I've ever been this excited ahead of a season, ever. There's so much to be excited about, so many possibilities, and it's just overall a great time to, be a fan of Spurs. And we've got a lot to look ahead to even before the season begins. But I thought today I'd focus on who we've brought in so far, our current fabulous five, I guess you could call them. And just look at, who they are, what they can bring, and how they will improve us. So first up, obviously, there's Croatian Ivan Perisic, who is a fantastic addition in both his experience in, his past, what he's won, and, what he can input, and his versatility. This man's won the double with Dortmund in 2012, won Serie A at Inter Milan under Conte, Champions League winner with Bayern Munich just a couple of years ago. And of course, he was part of the Croatia squad that made it to the World Cup final in 2018. So you're talking about a man who's played in a lot of big games and who knows what it's like to be in a winning team. The fact he's played under Conte is just a little bonus. So the fact that Conte knows him and knows how to work with him. The fact he's he can play in so many different positions. He can play as a winger, or as a wing back. He can play, he's so well footed with both feet. He can play on either side of the pitch. He's just the kind of player that, if we're in a tight spot, you can fit him in no problem at all, and it wouldn't affect our squad, which I think is probably the key to all of these signings and any more signings that we may make over the course of the summer. Is all of the second half of last season, especially, we had an 11, but just the first 11. Like, if anybody key was missing, we always dreaded, how's it going to affect us? A big point of all of these signings this summer is to ensure we have at least equal or very close to equal quality in every single position, so that we can fit players in and out consistently, because we're going to need to, because it's going to be a long season with a lot of games. And somebody like Perisic is going to be key to that. Then next up, you've got our new backup keeper, Fraser Forster. A very solid addition. English homegrown, who is more than suitable to come in for Hugo when required. He's always played some blinders over the years for when he's been at Southampton. So for a cup goalkeeper who we all need those few times a year, or in case we do happen to have that unfortunate scenario that Hugo maybe goes down, he's a very, very reliable number two choice, to have been between the sticks. And he's a big, commanding, towering keeper, so, makes himself big, can produce great saves. Look at the Southampton game against Arsenal last season, just at St Mary's as an example of the kind of saves he can pull, when he's on it. So overall, a very, very decent signing. Then the one that I think most Spurs fans are probably the most excited for is Basuma from Brighton. All of us have raved about this guy for 2-3 years and have wanted him for that long. He's always been Superman at Brighton. The perfect, hard-working, physical, ball-winning midfielder. Tackles relentlessly. His fitness is incredible. Can start attacks, can transition very well. The absolute rock, the general in the middle of the park, who glues the team together. And I've certainly wanted him for a while, and the fact that we've only got him for 25 million as well is simply phenomenal. Shrewd business work, and it's just a fantastic addition, and it's a bit something we've cried out for a long time, a player like him, and I'm over the moon that we've got him in. And he's going to be so important because in that two-man midfield, middle of the park throughout the season, as I mentioned earlier, we need players to rotate constantly, because it's going to be a lot of games. So obviously you can't be expecting players to play every single game, especially with the kind of fitness Conte requires. And especially in that middle four, when you have the four centimetres we've got, Basuma, Bentancur, Højbjerg and Skip, they're all going to be needed. And I think for somebody like Basuma's high level, he will be massively important throughout the season for us. Then we've got the devil, the maverick, if you will, of our summer, Richarlison. Somebody who certainly divides opinion on, his sometimes over-the-top theatrics and, tendency to play up in games, but there's certainly no denying when Everton needed him to clutch up, he always delivered for them, especially last season to keep them up. So, the quality's always been there, and as long as he doesn't act up, sort of throwing himself, doing somersaults on the pitch too often, I think he's going to be a fantastic forward, somebody who can play off as maybe a winger, or maybe even as a striker option. Again, that versatility is vital and important. And when you have, obviously we know we've got the three of Kane, Son and Kulusevski, and now you've got Richarlison there as well, who is going to be needed in games, So you have a stretch of 6 games across 2 weeks. You realistically can't expect Kane, Son, Kulusevski. You can't expect all 3 of them to be playing all of them. So 1 week you might drop Kulusevski for Richarlison. Maybe the next week you do Son. But the point is, last season we didn't have the options to do it. This season we've got that now. That's what's so important. As I said, building that squad, and I think Richarlison could. I call him a maverick, but he could well be an inspired signing for us. And then lastly, we've got the most recent signing to the team, Clement Lenglet, the French centre-half, signed on loan from Barcelona, who I know there's been a little bit of pessimism about, him signing, but, I think that's mostly due to the fact, he was a very promising young French centre-half and, signed to Barcelona with a lot of good fanfare. Then, of course, he was involved in the infamous 8-2 Bayern Munich game, and it seemed to sort of, took the confidence out of him a little bit. But, I do believe there's a top centre-half in there. And, people who may be questioning his ability, I say, look at Eric Dyer and even Ben Davies, how ridiculed they've been at times over these, even last season before Conte arrived, and look at who transformed those two. Adding Lenglet as an addition in there, I think again, it just strengthens our position. Obviously, with Romero, who's probably always, and Dyer are probably going to be in that back three will be the two who generally are the lock-ins, if you will. You've got Davies as a great choice, and now you've got Lenglet as well. And maybe somebody else if we sign another one. But the point is, again, like I've been repeating, I know it sounds like a broken record, but it is the emphasis on the options that we have now. And I think Lenglet's going to come up really good for us. And hopefully, maybe it turns into a permanent deal next season. So really to finish off, as I've been emphasising, we have a squad of options now, and with players who we can fit in and out, who we don't have to sit there thinking, what happens if so-and-so goes down, who's going to come in, the team's going to be ruined. You know, we haven't got the quality in this position to cover. You know, we do now because we've got all of these players in already, and you know, who knows, maybe more still to come in the summer. We've got, you know, backup because it's a squad that we need if we're going to do something special this season, and I really believe that we can. So, what do you guys make of who we've signed so far? Who do you think's going to, you know, be the most impressive? Do you think anybody else will come in? Leave all of your thoughts down in the comment section for me. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hello. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's really great to be back, guys. I will be back a lot more regularly through the course of this season because, as I said, I think it could be very, very special. Thank you for watching, guys. I have been Best Spurs 21. I will see you soon. And as always, come on, you Spurs!